Hey everybody, it's me. And so I said I was going to come back and basically give y'all an update of everything that happened when we were in court. So um, I was first of all, just to let y'all know, I was really nervous. I don't know why, but my stomach had like knots. I mean, it's like backwards than butterflies. I just had this really sunken feeling, and it was just crazy. But I want to thank everybody for praying. And I was just thinking and reflecting back on my marriage and everything like that. And it was just like, is this really happening? And so, let me tell y'all what happened. So anyway, when we go to court, I got my suit on, I got my bag on, I got all of my pleadings or whatever you want to call it, just ready to go in front of the judge. So when we get there, his attorney Matthew and his father, they're coming up, and I'm like, here they come, and then they're coming he's trying to give me some exhibits. And I'm like, no, you're not supposed to give me these exhibits because we didn't do a discovery. And he was like, well, this is for a part, I forgot the name of it or whatever like that. And I was like, I'm not taking none of that. I'm not looking at any of that. So, and anyway, I gave him all of my stuff that I found. And so, I was really going off on him. And I realized, too, that I really kind of not need to be so aggressive towards his attorney, because I'm so mad because it was his law firm who set everything up, and it was a conflict of interest. But this man is old. He could be somebody's great 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 grandfather. So God has been showing me in that aspect about grace and a whole lot. Is that her? Come on, girl. Get in here. Lillian, she's behind you. Symphony walking back and forth. Okay, so anyway, so after that, I was sitting up here and I'm talking to him, and we're going, exchanging words. And I say, before I said to my husband, I was like, hey, and I was like, calling his name, and he was looking up, and his father stepped in and kind of moved him out the way, and they went walking towards the thing, because I wanted to say, is this what you want? Is this? And he was ignoring me, not wanting to talk or anything. So his father and them, it's like he said, come on, son, we're going to go walk towards this window over here. And so that's exactly what they did. They walked towards the window. And I just really, when I'm in court, I'm always trying to engage and talk to him. And he's just blocking me out. So I will never do that again. I'm done with him. And so in the meantime, this Spanish woman, she stands up and she comes towards me and she says, are you an attorney? And I'm like, no, I'm not an attorney. I'm representing myself. I'm like, why? What's wrong? And she was trying to explain to me. She was like, well, first of all, his attorney excused himself and said he going to go through the paperwork and he going to go to the bathroom. And then he'll come back and speak to me. And so when this lady approached me, she, again, it was a Spanish woman. She asked me, was I an attorney? And I said, no, I represent myself. Why? What's wrong? And she said, they have an attorney. He have thousands of dollars. My husband have thousands of dollars. He paid $175 in child support. And I don't want a divorce, and he want a divorce, and I don't want a divorce, but they have an attorney, and I don't have no attorney. And then I said, okay. I said, I was trying to understand her, but I really couldn't understand her. If you understand what I'm saying, I was trying to understand her. So I was trying to call my good friend Anna on the phone so she can translate to me exactly what this woman is saying. So I called Anna, and the phone was ringing. Me and Anna got a 3-hour difference. So if it was 11 o'clock, it was 8, 9, 10, it was 8 o'clock on her end then. And so I asked the lady again, okay, I need you to try to explain it to me. And so she said again that they have attorney, she get 175. And so I said, okay, now I kind of understand what she said. I said, what you want to say is I said, okay, this is what I need to ask you. And she said, she said, I don't want no divorce. I said, okay. I said, have you and your husband been living with each other? She said, yeah, he's spending the night. I said, he spends the night? And she said, yeah. I said, have y'all still sleep with each other? Yeah, I have text message. And I said, okay. Because in the state of Virginia, in order for them to perform, or not perform, but to do a divorce on grounds of divorce, usually it needs to be 1 year of separation. No, they call it cohabiting, meaning no booty calls, which, so what you say. So I said, this is what I want you to do. When you go inside of the court, in front of the judge, ask him for a Spanish interpreter, okay? And then she said, okay. I said, you want a Spanish interpreter? And then I said, and then tell the judge that your husband stays with you, and you still are having sex, you're still sleeping with each other. And I said, just listen to what I'm saying, just keep saying that. And she said, okay. And I said, all right. So at 11:30 is when we were supposed to go in. And now remember, the whole time I'm talking to this woman, I'm coaching this woman, and my husband ain't even in my mind anymore. I just said to myself, this is some trifling stuff. This woman is not, she can barely speak English. And her husband got an attorney, and here she is trying to express herself in such a way. And I was just like, how dare, So I said, God is so good, because he sent the right person at the right time to be like, say what? So anyway, so we go inside, and we wait in for our time to be called in front of the judge. And so we go in front of they call your names out. So they said Hines versus Hines. And I get up, 30 minutes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm just doing the same stuff that these attorneys be doing, right? And so Matt's in there, his father's in there. His father got the ink pen and everything like that. And, he think this is a game. He think this is a sport. Whole time I'm not even tripping off of them. I'm looking at I'm just trying to make sure that this sister, the Spanish sister, she gets, that she's not left alone. So anywho, so what happened was, So everybody got their time called, and then the judge said he was going to do a recess, because there's a lot of people in the room. And he said he was going to do a 5-minute recess, so he stepped out. And I went to her, and I asked her, do you see the other party here? And she said, no, he's not here. I said, oh, he's not here? And she said, no, but his lawyer. I said, his lawyer's here? She said, yeah. She said 5 minutes. I said, yeah, because when the judge asks you this, all he wants to know is how much time do you need to speak to him? And I said, okay, remember what I told you to keep saying? She said, okay. So when the judge started calling people's names, and then they called her name, and so she got up there, and she said, I need a Spanish interpreter. And the whole time I was like, yes. And so the judge said, okay, all right, we'll call you up. We'll call for a Spanish interpreter. And so they called for a Spanish interpreter, and they finally came in, and they called her back up there. And the other attorney came up there, and she was just ready to rip this girl up. And the whole time, her client didn't even show. This woman's husband didn't show. So the lady goes up there, and she says this to the judge: I don't want a divorce. My husband still sleeping with me. We still live together. And the judge said, wait a minute, are you telling me that y'all still sleep together and still stay and still cohabiting? And I can see, like, I'm sitting in the back, the other attorney kind of like, she kind of jumped like, Your Honor, my client, I'm not aware of this. My client has told me that he's not sleeping with his wife and doesn't stay there. As a matter of fact, Your Honor, he has a girlfriend and she's pregnant right now. And I was like, the devil, I'm thinking in my mind, the devil is a liar. And so the whole time I'm all smiling. And so the judge turns to her and said, are you telling me that your husband is cohabiting still with you? And do you agree with what I said or disagree? And to me, it was like the judge was trying to trick her to say, I don't agree, trying to trick her. And I was just like, please don't, because she doesn't understand it. So the other lady was translating it, and this is what she said again. I don't understand. I don't want a divorce. My husband's still sleeping with me and we still stay together. And the whole time, y'all, I was smiling, and the judge said, I'm going to remove this from the docket. So he threw it out. And she turned around and she smiled at me. I said, you did good. And so she went on and she left out. And so by the time they called our case, because we wanted 30 minutes, that they, in Virginia, if it's too long, what they do is sometimes they'll call another judge to take it. So they called us to a different room. And so I was glad that my girlfriend T was there, because she can witness this. And I would honestly say that you definitely want to go in the courtroom with witnesses, because if you don't have nobody in your corner, the judge and everybody can do some underhanded stuff without somebody seeing that, because in Virginia, nothing is on record. And so anyway, when they told us to go somewhere else, I had stepped out and I saw the young lady. I said, you did very good. And I told her, what you want to do is make sure you have a Spanish interpreter. And then what you want to do is you want to put in a petition to amend the spousal support. So if he's paying $175, amend it for a higher amount, since you say he's getting thousands of dollars. And I told her good luck. And she's like, thank you. And so I went on. So when we go to the court, I didn't realize, I'm ready. When we go to the court, the judge comes in. It's a woman judge. She comes in. The only people that are in this court is my father-in-law, my husband's attorney. He's in there. My girlfriend T is in there. I'm in there. And my mother's back and forth with Symphony. And, of course, the bailiff. And so she comes in, and I'm like, Your Honor, they need to be removed. And the judge is pretty much like, this is a parte in spousal support and child support. And I didn't know that at that time, that's what we were going here for. I guess I had everything kind of mixed up. And so they don't have a divorce date yet. But what they were trying to do is amend spousal support by trying to say that $300 is too much and that it should be lower. But the thing about it is that he hadn't paid child support since September. And $300, I'm like, are you kidding me? And so, his attorney had a whole binder. Matter of fact, where's that binder at? It's too big for me to even drag over. Do I have to hold on? Let me check. So his attorney had this huge binder. I mean, this huge exhibit, just ready to just go on why my husband should not pay child support. And I was like, really? And so the whole time, because I was sitting up here trying to argue to remove them, and the judge was like, we're not here for that. And I said, okay, all right, I understand, Your Honor. So I just sat there and listened to everything he said. He said that I had all my husband's music equipment and all of this and all of that, whoop, and I'm being vindictive. I've also tried to sue and all of this other stuff. And so when I got up there, I'm like, Your Honor, my husband has abandoned us. These were his attorneys that put us out of the house, and they said I had 24 hours to get rid of everything, and that's what I did. And I'm sitting up here trying to work, business, all of that, and $300 is not a lot of money, in which he should be paying more, because his condo, I guess, is like maybe $3,000. So what is $300 a month? And he has not paid $300 because he hasn't paid since September. And so anyway, the judge was very quick to just say, oh, I'm going to keep the $300, and if he doesn't pay, I'm going to lock him up. So I said, okay, cool. And so they were trying to add in it too that he wanted me not to say anything on social media about my husband, because hi, Mike, because I know you up here looking at this video. I know my in-laws and everybody else are looking at my YouTube channels. And so they were trying to say that they didn't want me to mention anything about him on social media and this and the third. I said, oh, no. I said, Your Honor, me and my husband has suffered losses before, and what we do with the channel that I have is to help other women, cope with their losses and even encourage them. And I'm not going to stop talking about the truth. I said, this is my right, this is my amendment right, my freedom of speech. No. And she was like, well, as long as you don't call his job or something like that. I said, why would I do that? My husband really thinks that he's Michael Jackson or something, or I don't want to say Michael Jackson, but he thinks like, this woman, trust me, I'm not thinking about you for real. I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm really, really not. And so the whole time, so yeah, that was in that other court, but let's go back to the first court. So my friend was, cause I kept telling her this is what's going on in court. And I remember when the first judge, when he stepped out and he had a recess and the bailiff was gone too, my friend was like, Ramona, why don't you tell him you love him? And it was like probably about 25 people in there. I was like, Matthew, I love you. I was like, I love you. And so, but I always did that before. But it's like, okay, I really do love him. But maybe now I can love him in a different type of light now. I'm good with that. So, anyway, going fast forward. So when the judge said, okay, so this is what it's going to be. We're going to keep it at $300. There is no spousal support. Matter of fact, I think they even said they wanted me to pay him spousal support, like $21 a month. Oh, that's my baby. Hold on. Is she okay? She fine. She out there with her aunt Nikki. Okay, so okay, where was I get? Okay, so then now we in the court, and y'all, I don't know why, but God gave me the spirit of laughter the whole time while I'm in there. When the judge leave and the bailiff leave, I'm just cracking jokes. I'm having fun and everything, and so I'm sitting up here just playing with my husband's attorney. I'm just saying little slick jokes and everything like that, going back and forth, just to see if I could crack a smile on his face, right? So I'm like, I told his attorney, but I'm not gonna lie, I noticed that his attorney was shaking. And I said, you need a vacation. And I told him, you need to go down south and you need to be sipping on some lemonade under a manola tree. And so I'm just sitting here cracking jokes and everything. I'm like, Matthew, honey, where are your ties? And babe, have you been eating? Like, I'm just doing all of this, right? And my father-in-law's in the back taking notes. And I'm all like, James, you need to stay out of grown folk business. And so my friend over here laughing and we just cracking jokes. And so he was like, I need your social security number. I'm like, you need my social security number? For what? What you about to buy with my social security number? So then I say, let me see this paper. So he gives me the paper and I'm all reading it. I'm like, what type of font you use? So I'm in there just cracking jokes. And then of course when the bailiff comes out, I'm really quiet, But it's really tasteful. I was just really kind of like, just honestly, I was just laughing so hard. I was having a good time. Not disrespecting anybody though, but just laughing. And I remember leaving, and what did his attorney say? He said, you should have been in boxing. I said, no, not boxing. He said, you should have been in a sport. I said, what, boxing? He said, yeah, UFC. I said, what is that, kickboxing? It's not the kickboxing stuff. He said, yeah. I said, yeah, they fight dirty. Yeah, I should have been in that. And so, to me, it's like the coldness and the whole, we're going to be mean to her. Like God, and the Lord says he laughs at the wicked. And he gave me a bit of that laughter that day. And I tell you, I just was laughing and everything. And so when the judge was going to go ahead and make copies of all of that, me and his attorney, we had to go down. And it's kind of crazy because, we had to go down to the clerk's office to get the copies, right? And so Matt's over there and he's just standing. Well, first, before when we walked out of the courtroom, his attorney's so old. I told Matt, pick up the box for him because he's too old. Pick that box up. His father kind of like pushes Matt back, like, don't you pick up the box for him. He has it. Don't you do what she says to do. Like, his father is crazy. I really believe that his father is narcissistic, and the reason why Matt is suffering from what he's suffering from is because of his daddy. But that's between them two. But anyway, so when we go downstairs and we go to the clerk office. First, Matt comes over. He shakes his attorney's hand. I didn't say anything to Matt anymore. Like, I'm not going to be like, Babu, and I love you, darling. After you took a 4x4 and smacked me in the back of my head, I love you. I'm not doing all of that. So, anyway, so me and his attorney was walking downstairs, and the whole time I'm still cracking jokes with his attorney. And then he says, yeah, you must get a crack at this. I mean, you said that you want to be an attorney. I said, no, I never said that. I said I should have been an attorney. And then I said, to be honest with you, I really lost respect for attorneys. I said, no, that's the wrong term. Attorneys don't impress me anymore. That's what I said. And we were sitting up here, we were talking and everything like that. And while we were going to make the copies, he said, well, as you know, because I was asking him stuff too pertaining towards the law and even some of these, the paperwork and everything. And I know he got irritated by what the other party said, but I'm not going to repeat it on here because I know my father-in-law looking at this this taping. She out there. And so anywho, so right we're at the station getting our copies done. So the guy, he says, how much are the copies going to be? And he looks at me and he said, well, you have to pay for your own copies. I said, my father-in-law paying for you gonna pay for my copies too. He gonna say and laugh, right? And I said, was that an evil laugh or a good laugh? And then I made this laugh, like as of an evil laugh, but the whole time I was cracking up. So the guy at the thing was listening to our conversation. He said, you know what, it sounds like you guys had a really long day. So he gave us the free copies. I said, you see how God works. And so we were in the elevator and we were going downstairs to the first floor. And I was telling him, do not process my divorce. But I was playing with him because I know he's getting paid to do what he's supposed to do. He was like, no, I'm supposed to do what the client's supposed to do. Y'all got to understand, this man could be somebody's great grandfather. He's like, I am supposed to do what my client's want me to do. But while we were walking out, one thing he said to me was, why would you want to still be married to him if you say these things? Why would you still want to be married to him? And we were walking. I said, well, the whole thing of through sickness, through health, through death do you part. And I felt like when I dealt with all of my losses, he stuck with me. And right now he's going through a sickness. And he's saying, well, but why would you want to do that? He was like, people change. And then I was thinking like, yeah, it is true, people change, but then he was talking and stuff, and then at the end of it, I remember saying to him, you know what, you taught me something very valuable, because you said, why would you want to be with somebody who is not worthy to have you? Somebody who's treating you like dirt, doing all of this harm, sending attorneys like him to come and jump you and devour you and do all of these things. He's not worthy. I was like, thank you. You really taught me something. He said, oh no, I never said it. I said, you did. It was in the eyes. And so I was laughing. And he kind of chuckled. And I said, all right, Mr. Fogelman. I don't want to say his name, but I said, all right, Mr. Such and Such, you have a nice one. And that was it. God gave me peace and joy, and he really opened my eyes to see that you cannot make anybody love you. And the sun is shining, and he also showed me, Mona, I have something bigger for you to do. And I believe too that my highlight of the day was to help that lady before she went into court, because my stomach was turning and everything. And I think I told my cousin, that's why I believe they have all of them daggone restrooms in the court, because people's stomachs turn and everything before they get up in there feeling nauseated. But I couldn't imagine that other woman. she don't know anybody, not being represented, nobody's understanding her language. But God will send people to be there to coach you on and to give you encouragement to go through the things that you go through. And so I remember saying this to my husband's attorney, that I've learned a lot of things. Just like that one judge who chewed me out and said, you just think you just gonna waltz up here. I mean, this judge chewed me out. But you know what she said, y'all? She said, we were trained to be emotionless. And I said, shoot, I want to be just like you then up in here. I'm emotionless. So my husband, or soon to be ex, or whatever you want to call it, when he looked up, and I even told him, our daughter, she writes with her left hand, and you would act like you don't even want to acknowledge me, acknowledge your daughter. I'm done. I am done. So your attorney was right. His attorney was right. Why would you? I'm better than that. I'm better than that. And, the whole time I was saying to myself, it's because of the illness and this. But I studied him when he came in. He looked himself, but he didn't look himself. But he was very conscious of everything that he was doing. So, in a nutshell, I still got favor, $300 a month for child support. And then soon we'll be getting a date for the hearing for our divorce or whatever like that. I know that a man that loves his wife will not leave his wife and will fight to the death to keep her wife. And so I have a lot of my friends that, dealt with a little, things in their relationships. Because, some relationships, majority of all relationships are very rocky. But I say when two people are fighting for a great cause to be together, that marriage relationship is worth being together. And like I said before, God showed me that Mona, I am the creator. And there are billions of people on this planet who do not serve me. So you sit up here and say, but that's my husband and we're married and we're one flesh. Well, God was saying, honey, I created flesh. So you need to back up, let him go, and let me enlarge your territory for something greater, something better. And it's time, y'all. 2017. It's time. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what happened in my adventure in the Fairfax County courthouse. And my friend was just like, Mona, I heard you telling me this, but the witness said, oh my goodness. And after that, we went out to lunch. We had a great time. The day before then, I took Symphony to Chuck E. Cheese, and so I enjoyed her running around. And so I said to myself that this is going to be a year of my independence. I'm still going to keep my rock on. I'm still going to keep it on. You know why? Because number one, I like diamonds. Number two, even when we do get a divorce, I'm keeping this ring on because I don't have no time for any new relationships. This is like my shield. This is called a blocker. Don't come near me. I don't have time for it right now. I'm so focused right now on my daughter, on my business, God, and just I'm coming out with just me. I'm trying to enjoy me, you know what I'm saying, and get to know me. And so I'm looking forward to all of this whole court stuff to be over finally. So until then, ta-ta for now. That was about the court thing. I'm going to come back with my inputs about my I say to myself, my spiritual auntie that she don't even know me, but Kimberly. But other than that, as far as my marriage, people say, am I giving up? I'm not filing for a divorce. So I guess I wouldn't say I'm giving up. But yeah, I'm giving up where I'm not going to be sitting up here and say, babe, look at me. I'm your wife. Look. No, I'm not doing that no more. I ain't doing that. See, when my husband met me, he knew I was vicious. And when he see me up in them courts with them bad suits on, he still know, man, my wife is vicious. And then when I get to ignoring you now, and give you the back, like I'm not paying attention. You all looking around, looking out the window. She's checking me out. I'm not even paying attention to you no more. Okay, so you have a good life with your new boo or whatever you want to do with all of y'all. Y'all have a good life. I can't do the crazies no more. So anyway, ta-ta for now.